and welcome to another Outside the Box review. Today we are looking at the Predator the Hunter figure from McFarlane. This is based off of the Predator from Predator 2, which is probably one of my least favorite Predator movies, up there with the second Alien vs. Predator. I actually would put the first Alien vs. Predator slightly above 2, just out of entertainment factor. Though I must say the end fight scene in 2 is pretty enjoyable, so maybe on par with AVP for me. But we're not doing a review of the movie, we're doing a review of the figure. And one thing I have to say right off the bat about this figure is, it's this kind of figure in my collection that really made me think long and hard about how I was going to present my reviews on this channel, because this is one of the pieces of my collection that is nowhere near pristine. This thing is banged up, it's missing pieces, it has broken pieces that have been super glued back on. So unfortunately, my review is going to be slightly tainted by what isn't here. Now, this figure originally from McFarlane, when it came out in, I believe, 2004, came with the medical kit that he uses at the end of the movie, a flintlock pistol, and a trophy skull, like some kind of random alien thing. I have none of those pieces along with this guy. But we can get into what I do have with this figure. And that is, obviously, the figure itself, the removable mask, which is kind of a rarity on Predator figures, the disc, which you can see in his holster on his left side, where the camera's left, and that's really about it. The paint scheme on this figure is pretty nice. It does a decent job representing the character. The browns are nice, the different hues on his costume. They all work. I feel like it's showing of the time this figure is made in. The detail work on the costume isn't like what you'd get with, say, NECA. You can see here the rubber parts up around his shoulders are really just molded out of a brownish gray rubber and given some slight dry brushing. It really doesn't have a whole lot of different colors or anything mixed in. The sculpted details like this, and they're also just kind of drab looking. But they work. I mean, they do work. Some of this soft rubber material is not holding up over the years. Particularly, you can see the disc has already fallen out of its holster over here. This thing is warped. As I said, I got this second hand, so it could have been something that the previous owner had done that made it warped like this, but it does not hold the disc well at all. I must say, though, for as old as this is, and especially being a McFarlane figure, the articulation is superb. You have a ball-jointed neck, you have a hinge in the shoulder to make it move in and out, and then you also have a ball-jointed shoulder with a good range of articulation. As you can see, I'm also missing a shoulder pad piece from here. The elbows are actually the worst bit of articulation because they're just that stupid swivel joint. Actually, forgot to mention bicep rotation up there, I guess. But down here, when you get to the elbow, it's just that little gimpy bend there. And it's not too bad on this arm, but this arm is stuck in super bent mode, which is kind of obnoxious. The wrist is like a pin and socket joint. This one, I guess I'm wrong. This one appears to just be a swivel. Maybe something wrong with mine once again. This one can move in and out. This joint broke. Like, one of the first things that happened when I got this figure is that joint snapped. So it's in there kind of loosely. There's a mid-torso crunch in here, and also side-to-side articulation at the upper body, and also a waist articulation point. I think we could have done without the waist articulation with this crunch up here, and honestly, I almost would have rather not had the crunch and just had the waist, and to make the body look a little more streamlined. That's one of my least favorite details in this figure, is his big upper torso here. The legs have a bit of a ball joint. It really only works as a swivel, almost like a V-cut swivel. They don't go out a lot, and a lot of this articulation feels like it's going to break, sadly enough. At McFarlane, maybe they just didn't know what articulation was and how not to make things fall apart. There's a rotational point here, up in the upper leg. You can bend at the knee, and the foot can go up and down and side to side. So, especially for McFarlane, it is a very articulated figure. Just pretty cool. Take a look at the back of him. He's got his backpack full of stuff. I assume the med kit would have clipped on here somewhere. I think there's a little peg hole in this thing. I think the med kit would have snapped into that. Would have made everything kind of nice to have that on there. This whole back armor is pretty loose. It's not connected to the figure very well. Just kind of flops around. See the back end of his loincloth. There's this holster on his side, which appears to be for the net gun that he uses in the movie. I have not found any reference to these figures actually coming with a net gun. And I almost wonder if McFarlane just wanted you to throw the flintlock pistol in there, which would have been totally inaccurate for this character. As you can see back here, we have the plasma caster, which is pretty nice. It rotates at a couple points. You could rotate the head of it, and this part can swing up and around. You could turn around and have the thing coming off his shoulder. Now it is a little loose, so it will kind of flop around. But if you're just going to pose it and leave it, it does have a nice look to it. And I'm happy they gave it to us with all the articulation they did. The wrist blades are pretty simple. Definitely not as nice as the NECA blades. But there's a little lever on the side here, and watch how much extension we get on these blades. It's incredible. That's it. It's such a minimal amount of stretch you get on them. And it's really actually kind of sad and a little pathetic how little range you get on those blades. And the giant silver tab doesn't really help things either. And you could take this hand, you could take the disc, which is pretty nicely detailed for what it is. And you flip it over and you can kind of see the handprint engraved on there of how his hand will hold it. And it's a little tricky to get this thing in his hand. But once you do, you can hold the disc. It's about as plain and simple as that. I think it only goes in this hand. Once again, it kind of sucks because this hand's all bent. The arm's bent. One of the best features about this figure is the mask. Originally, there was a cable here that attached to the back plate, but that's been separated. I honestly probably would have done that myself if it wasn't, because it would have been kind of goofy and awkward when you go to take the mask off, which comes off like that, and you get the Predator's face underneath. It's a pretty good representation. Back when it was McFarlane alone doing these things, it probably would have been a pretty nice head sculpt. Now it kind of looks a little goofy because the head is a bit undersized. I think NECA did a really good job with the head sizes on their Predator figures. But if all of them had been to this scale, I think it actually would have been a passable head sculpt for McFarlane. As the jaws close, as they would have to be to have the mask fit, they're decently detailed. The paint apps on the head are a little lacking, honestly. It kind of has a shininess to it that looks a little plasticky. And the rest of the body has this nice matte finish to it. And this just looks way too shiny. There's some good detail. The eyes are in there. the hair or the dreadlocks or whatever it is. I know they're a little shorter in this movie, and they do reflect that in the toy. They're really rigid on here. I mean, they are a soft rubber, but they're pretty rigid, and some of them are bent, and they definitely need to be heated up or something to bend them back. I really do like the versatility of being able to take the mask off. It definitely lets you have the Predator in more modes than one. I think that's what makes this figure really a desirable piece. I think this is the only one of the Predator 2 figures that McFarlane did like this. It's a nice design. And NECA keeps claiming it's something that cannot be done. And while I do know that the head's a little undersized, I probably wouldn't mind having a slightly oversized biomask. I mean, this isn't very thick plastic. It doesn't add a whole lot of thickness to the head. If NECA could figure out a way to just do what McFarlane has already done, it would be really cool. But I mean, in the meantime, I'll still keep buying, 8 billion classic Predators just to get a slight redeco of the head, because I'm just a sucker like that. The last little detail, as you can see, this is the battle damage version. On the front and back, you can see the paint apps of the blood. Really well done paint apps on the blood. I believe it actually is glow-in-the-dark paint. I mean, for not being an actual fluid on the figure, it looks really good. It's a really good look of a battle damage Predator. I just love that. Even the shadow, it shines so bright. And to add on to that, you have his arm here. You can see the blood splatter on it. And you can take it and pull it apart. It's a little harder than I anticipated. Pull it apart, and he has a pretty much bloody stump. More green paint on the severed part as well. 2 little pegs. I heard that originally when you got this brand new out of package, the glow-in-the-dark paint would have been on the pegs and in the peg holes as well, and it would have made it really, really hard to get the arm on and off. So I think the fact that you could see the natural plastic color through it is something that just happens over time as the figure's used. I mean, that's a really neat little feature. Between the removable mask and the bloody stump, really cool features for this Predator. I mean, the only thing I really could have hoped for would be to have gotten, the original accessories. I don't even know so much. Maybe the med kit, the spear. I know there was a spear with another version of this figure, and I kind of would have liked the other breathing mask, the one that just went on the lower part of the face. It would have been kind of hard to include that in a figure, but since this is the battle damage one, that would have been kind of a neat add-on to it. But overall, I mean, it's a pretty cool figure. Now, from what I've heard, NECA is planning to make their own Predator 2 figure. I know we got a Toy Fair right around the corner. We've already been promised the Elder from Predator 2. I'm sure they'll go make the City Hunter, or whatever you want to call this guy. And I'm definitely foreseeing what NECA can do with it. I think their stuff is definitely superior. This is the only McFarlane Predator I have, but as far as durability and just detail work, I really want to see what NECA could do with this. But having this being the only one commercially available now, or I guess not commercially available since they've long since been sold out and out of production, eBay is pretty much your only hope for this guy. This is really cool. I mean, if you need your Predator 2 up there now, hunt one of these guys down, and whether you get the battle damage or there is the other version, I think, that has open mandibles and no mask and the spear, and he's not battle damaged. It's a pretty nice little figure. Like I said, they're both mostly the same sculpt, so you really can't go wrong between one or the other, depending on what you want your Predator to look like. We'll see how it compares out to the NECA one, should that happen, when that happens. And maybe we'll do a figure wars here to delve deeper into the differences. But for now, if you like Predator 2, or if you just like Predator, it's definitely a nice figure to pick up. This has been another Outside the Box review. Stay tuned for more coming in the future. Bye.